Crossover is the first novel in a series which follows the adventures of Cassandra Kresnov, an artificial person, or android, created by the League, one side of an interstellar war against the more powerful Conservative Federation. Cassandra is an experimental design, more intelligent, more creative, and far more dangerous than any that have preceded her. But with her intellect come questions and a moral awakening. She deserts the League and heads incognito into the space of her former enemy, the Federation, in search of a new life. Hello and welcome to Liam's Lyceum. I'm your host, Liam, aka Hembar, and today I'll be doing a spoiler-free review of Joel Shepard's Crossover. Crossover is a 2000 novel and first in the Cassandra Kresnov series, which has 6 novels. This story does work as a standalone, however. It is a cyberpunk, political, military space opera of sorts as well. It is set in the 26th century in the city of Tanusha. It isn't dystopian, so I think this is what makes it technically considered post-cyberpunk. Considering that while corporations are insanely large and powerful, the governments have not collapsed in this further future cyberpunk where many systems in space have been colonized. The system is somewhat corrupt, though, as you would expect, really in most sci-fi anyways. Our main character seems to be April Cassidy, though that's a new name. She is known as Sandy to her friends, and her name is Cassandra Kresnov. She is ex-military and in search of a simple, calm civilian life. It is inspired by the original Ghost in the Shell manga. It explores the potential humanity of androids and cyborgs, and this is how the story starts, establishing humanity, essentially, that Sandy is a she and not an it. She is sort of a person, right? That's what Shepard is trying to do at the start, at least. Now, this isn't the same story as Ghost in the Shell, even though it's nicely inspired by it. The first 50 pages are fantastic. Many times over the years, I wanted feelings I could find in an anime as a kid to translate into a novel, but I've never found one, to be honest, until now. The intro is so good, and it's not super intense, as say with something like the other series I read by Joel Shepard, Spiral Wars, which starts with Renegade, which is one of the most intense first stories I've read in a series before. But it introduces us to a nice and mostly ordinary life that is upended drastically, and throw in some horrifying scenes to make it more real this time around. So I will warn that the first 100 pages has very little action. And honestly, there's a lot of not action throughout the book. Actually, there's a lot of downtime too, which I thought was nice. It helps you with the character development, essentially. It is third-person limited as far as the story goes. There are many more POVs, though, than Cassandra's, though I guess they do get limited attention. Generally, their parts are rather small. And she struggles as a person doing the right thing, and she feels in over her head as she's trying to, have a different life. She was, like I mentioned earlier, built by the League, but with that war ending, she has left the League and has gone to Tanusha, or Calais, which I believe, if I remember correctly, is the name of the planet. I actually read this a couple months ago. So as a whole, they make up parts of the Confederation, though, the enemy of the League. And so the story involves a kind of a ghost from her past coming back to haunt her. One of the characters we do have parts from is Vanessa. She is a SWAT lieutenant. We also have Ibrahim, who is a good character over SWAT as well. I think Shepard does a fantastic job of cutting to the chase, even though he does give us his downtime. But when action starts, it's surprising how much gets done so quickly. Along with that downtime, though, the relationship building and just enjoying life is pretty well explored. Sex also gets a lot of focus, though, and more than I would have guessed, actually. It's pretty interesting when looking at an artificial, super powerful person and their interest in sex, because the person is made up from parts of real people, not like it's human cells, if that makes sense. So the more human it becomes, the more human it becomes, which is to say that Cassandra likes to have sex, which is pretty interesting. Um, and then I've come to expect it with Spiral Wars, but this was actually his first published novel, as far as I'm aware. And it's just as diverse as the real world, he does a good job of doing that in Spiral Wars anyways. And not really in a fake way, it's very real, it doesn't seem forced. I believe Shepard has like political science experience, international relations, something like that. So I like Shepard. I would have actually read this one quicker, but Shepard is one author I go out of my way not to listen to, but to actually read the physical books, because he's one I just enjoy so much that's just how I have to experience. But anyway, Williams Lyceum, catch you next time.